It does feed into a big story we're discussing today in terms of those hotels. Asylum hotels will be gone, and Rachel Reeves is going to solve the problem. Stephen Wolfe, migration expert, former MEP and lawyer, is with us. Stephen, good afternoon to you. There you were, diligently working away at this for many, many years, along with many of your colleagues. And, well, all you needed to do was ask Rachel, because she solved it in one fell swoop.
Oh, she has. I mean, clearly, overnight, we're going to see the ending of those people coming across on small boats, flying in on planes with visas, on the backs of lorries, and just being found as the four main categories of people who are illegal into this country. And just as if by magic, you know, she wishes her wand away, and they will no longer be in hotels. What they will be, Ian, is exactly as you've identified. The great con is upon us. It started with Rishi Sunak, when he began to say, I'm fast-tracking numbers of people through the asylum process, is they're shifting the concern from national government and the Home Office onto local authorities and council tax and council housing and social housing. Yeah. And that is disgraceful. It's dishonest. The deceit is plain in everybody's eyes, what they're simply trying to do. And when she now starts to announce the billions into social housing that are going to be built, she knows, we know, she knows, we know that this is going to be used to house up to 30 or 40 or even more, 50% of people who are not British born, but those coming and gaining indefinite leave to remain, because that's what's happening in many districts and towns across the country.
Yeah, spot on. And that, of course, feeds into the housing crisis for people who've been waiting on lists for, you know, in some cases, years, you know, a decade or something on a list, just waiting for social housing. People who go to work as well, Stephen, you know, not people who have just sort of decided, I can't be bothered to work, give me a house. No, people who are actually taxpayers.
Yes, and what I found is you listen to that call before, and I heard him, and your heart goes out to men like that, men that I know who've gone through divorces, who have families in their 40s and 50s, who know that they're going to be in the bedsits and never ever get a chance, despite contributing in tax, to any form of social housing. And you know that there are families like mine when I was growing up, to be fair, 250,000 families, people who are born in this country, who are living in bedsits, who will not get easy access to social housing. And the cost of that, the cost of putting people in who gain indefinite leave to remain, who therefore are entitled to be British, there's no categorization that says you can be British first and IDLs later, that will mean that council tax will go up substantially, and we have no control of that.
Where do you imagine then, bearing in mind, Stephen, the problem with this story, we're talking here hypothetically, based on the numbers of people in asylum hotels at the moment, not the increase in those numbers, because, of course, as a previous communicator just mentioned, you know, if you look over the course of a parliament, based on current figures, we could be looking at numbers like 160,000 people.
Well, that's right. I mean, it's actually more than that, because if that's only those who have come over on the small boats in. But if you go back to 2018, there's actually been 262,000 people who've come here and claimed asylum from all the different sources I've talked about, planes, boats, backs of lorries, and the small boat crisis as well. So if you've got 250,000 people, that's the size of Southampton and perhaps Winchester added together, then you've got to house them somewhere. And what's happening now is that distribution is being forced across the country. You've just maybe talked about, or I've certainly seen, the riots that are going on in Ballymena. Well, in there, you saw a whole street literally being placed by people who are of a different background to those people who were born there, shifted all at once. Hundreds of people going into streets and communities all over the country. It's going to change and transform cities and small towns. And if people are living in Liberal Democrat areas and areas of the Green Party, will say, we've not yet seen what's happened in Bradford or Leicester or Birmingham, where the cultural changes have happened so dramatically, because we're still living in nice English countryside. It's going to happen to you, because that's the only way that you can distribute people across the country. And they'll do that, and then you'll see further changes to the national culture of this nation.
Always very basic stuff and thorough stuff from you, Stephen. Thank you. It shouldn't take a law degree to work this out, but I'm glad you're there. Stephen Wolfe, migration expert, former MEP and lawyer, just speaking common sense as it is. These are not really opinions now. These are just facts that are out there that are resisted by the establishment, resisted by the Labour government, who are just trying to, you know, plug all these kind of weird holes all over the, oh, we can solve this problem. If we do this, then we can get these people here, and then we'll put a few more quid there for the border piece. Like, you could solve this overnight, mate. You could really could solve this if you wanted to, but you don't have the ghoulies to do it, frankly.